What is up, guys? You're tuning in to Nikki MGTV for another military video for all your military video needs. As always, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, or down in the comments below if you have questions. But as always, let's roll right into the topic. That is aviation ordnanceman, AO. Obviously, this is not a job talked about enough. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
So this is Post Malone. I'm kidding. This is, what do you want to go by?
You can just call me Post.
Just
or
Post.
Malone.
Post or Malone. All right, we'll just go with that. You are an AO3. You're on sea duty right now. To give context to a lot of these people that are maybe looking at becoming an AO. So a little bit about your journey. What made you pick it?
It was right before my senior year, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I was about to go to college, but I hadn't really applied, and I found the PBS documentary Carrier. It was 2005. Or it was based in 2005, and I just decided like that looked really cool. They were following an AO, and everything he was doing just looked really kick-ass and cool, and I was like, I think that's what I want to do. And I went to the recruiting office the next day, and we got set up for MEPS.
So did you tell them, were you like, I want to be an AO? Like, and they're like, we got the job for you.
Yeah.
Don't worry. That was it. Did you tell them you watched Carrier? Let me know that.
Yeah, I did tell them I watched Carrier, and they were like, well, what'd you think? I said, well, it's exactly what I want to do. And they were completely like straightforward. There was no line about it. A lot of people say that their recruiter lied to them, and I told them what I wanted to do. And AO, you're pretty much always going to get it. And so they were completely honest with what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And a month later, I had the job title, and once I finished school, I was.
How long was it between when you went to the recruiter, signed up at MEPS, and then you actually left off? I tell a lot of people, I mean, you're going to have a couple months of time between all those steps. People are like, well, I'm not trying to leave until this time, but I'm like, you're going to leave after that time anyway because of weight and depth. So how long was your wait?
My wait was about 7 months, I believe. I think I went to MEPS the first time, and I swore in around October, November-ish, while I was a senior, and then I finished I finished with high school, and I got my diploma, and then about a month later, the end of June, that's when I shipped out.
Damn, so you were not playing around.
No, I was right after high school. I pretty much packed my bags and I left.
I almost had the same thing where I graduated end of May, early June, and I left. I signed up in July, left November. So I mean, it was very quick. And I want to convey like the process to sign up is pretty quick. It's not long at all. So
very streamlined. Yeah,
they've got this down to a science. But anyway, so you go to boot camp. There's enough videos about boot camp. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about AO. Keep it on topic. I know AO school is very short. So what exactly are you guys learning while you're there, and how, I guess, does that apply to your job? Do you think it's pretty accurate?
So when you first get there, they pretty much just talk about like a broad overview of everything that you have to deal with. So they teach you about the explosives, the missiles, pretty much all the systems. And it's just a brief, like, this is what this is. Good, got it. Let's go on to the next topic. And they're pretty much just teaching you about the things associated with it, like the computers and the jets, the skids that we use to carry the ordnance, and the actual ordnance itself, and just the hazards that go along with it. So that's what you're going to be expecting in A school, just a broad overview.
I can only assume, like, there's only, like, 2 rules in A school for you guys. And I joked about this on the way over. I said, how long does it take to learn 1, 2, 3 lift? And don't touch the red button. I'm kidding. But as far as, like, handling of them, I think that could scare a lot of people. Do they ease your, I guess, fear of that? Because, I mean, you are working around things that are obviously dangerous. If there aren't, I know there's Army mechanisms and stuff like that, but that could very much scare somebody that's not in the field already. So what can you speak on that?
Well, the first time I actually saw live ordnance, it was on the Carrier once we had already gotten underway, and they started to pull out the 500, 1,000 pound bombs. And I looked at it, I was like, oh man, that's gonna, this is designed to kill somebody. It's designed to explode. And I was kind of freaked out for like a few days, but then once you realize how safe they are and how practical it is, all the safety measures they take to prevent them from actually detonating, you get pretty comfortable, not complacent, but comfortable enough to work.
I would say
it.
confident.
Confident,
Yeah. I think confidence is a good word to use, but no, that's good news for everyone that's like maybe intimidated by that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to be. So
I'm actually more afraid of aircraft tires than I am ordnance, because when I first got here, you have to do the NAMP INDOC, the Naval Aviation Maintenance Publication, and they showed me a picture of a Marine that had improperly aired a tire, and it blew up, and they showed me the picture of what he looked like afterwards, and that scared me more than the actual ordnance itself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my main fear right now,
Okay.
other than ordnance.
So just be scared of tires.
Yeah.
So after you guys go through A school, I know everyone's worried about where am I going to get stationed? How did you get orders to Japan? You've been in Japan since 2016. And I always tell people, like I said, the whole thing is very fast because, one day you're sitting in high school, you graduate, you go to boot camp, you go to AOA school, which is about a month long, and then bam, you're in Japan. It happens overnight. So in regards to picking orders, how did you get Japan? How did they give them out? And I want to preface the entire thing of, you went years ago. Yeah. I went to Corpsman A school years ago. There's a lot of varieties of how they can issue orders as far as GPA, just giving it to you, giving you a dream sheet, but how did you get orders?
So we were about a week away from graduating A school, and one of the career counselors came in. He just popped his head in through the door. He goes, "Malone?" And I look up, I go, "Yeah, that's me." He said, "Okay, East Coast, West Coast, or overseas?" And I thought to myself, I was like, well, I could go East Coast or West Coast and stay in the States and see the same things I've already seen before, or I can go overseas. And I'd seen a lot of videos before about people going to Japan, and I thought it'd be cool. So I said overseas, and I knew I was going to get orders to Japan or, maybe Korea or something like that. But yeah.
Is that just based on the fact that most of your job is based around Japan being here versus somewhere else overseas? I don't know your duty station opportunities as far as AO too much.
I think the only other overseas, and I said Korea. I don't think we have any billets in Korea. I think we can go to Bahrain or Italy. I'm not too positive on that, but really, when somebody says overseas, it's Japan.
No, I'm assuming so as well. I want to make sure I know there's very niche spots, and there's obviously weird shore duties that can pop up other places that, are not typical. So obviously this is your first tour, but you've been in the Navy for at least a good minute. You've got over 2 years experience doing this. So I trust that, he's talking pretty good generalization, like you can expect Japan. So as far as that goes, speaking of duty stations, what are the best and worst duty stations that people look for that you've heard of? You joke saying that there aren't any good duty stations. So what's up with that?
So you have it really depends on if you're going shore duty or sea duty. Shore duty would be more, you stay on the base and you don't really do much. And that's kind of what a lot of people strive for. Your sea duties will be where we are now, FD&F, overseas on the carrier. And if I were to pick, I would say probably Bahrain, and it's more desirable. It's a great area, and the work's pretty easy. But you only get 1 year orders over there.
Yeah.
Over here, since that new memo came out, I believe the people who this is their first duty station, first duty station going overseas, I believe it's a mandatory 4 years. So I would say this would probably be one of the worst ones, or a RAG squadron. And for people who don't know what a RAG squadron is, it's a squadron that has roughly 100 jets that you have to maintain constantly. And we've had a few broken jets that we've had to replace. We did a swap with them, and they take our broken ones. We get the, just as broken ones that we have to repair.
The maybe a minuscule better.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to give a total shout out to what you guys do out here. When you speak FDNF, forward deployed naval forces, supposedly it gives some marginal benefits to advancement because people hear advance, I guess, a little more. I don't know why. That's statistically speaking overall. That's not specific to AO. But in regards to your experience, we talked about how you've been in Japan since 2016, but your actual time here, you've only been here about 3 months at a time because you're constantly deploying. So if you want to travel, I mean, you're well traveled right now,
Yes,
but
very.
you said you haven't laid your head down in the same bed for more than 3 months since you've been here since 16. So it is tough.
Yeah.
So did you want to expand on that at all?
A lot of times we're visiting different countries, and kind of in our off season, we'll train up our pilots as best we can. We'll go to different places and make sure that they're qualified up to be able to do their job. So we're constantly on the move, either deployment or building up our jets so they're mission capable, and having our pilots as best as that they can be at that time. So.
Yeah. Does it ever freak you out if something was not loaded properly?